So Formula One, the Japanese Grand Prix 2026, as this is the final race before a long break from let's say next Monday, until Miami, early May, and obviously that's because of the two races cancelled in mid-April, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, and right decision considering the issues that and the problems that has been happening there. And as I said before, and I'll say it again. Hopefully, the situation that is happening in Middle East improves very, very, very quickly. But it was the decision to cancel two races. And people say that those two races should have been replaced by other track like Portugal or Istanbul. I don't think losing two races is an issue, because Formula One has right now 22 races, still a lot. Back in the day, Formula One used to have 19 races. Now the 24 and two races. Losing two races it's not the end of the world, in my opinion. So and including also six sprints. So of course. I would have liked them to replace with two races with the two other tracks like Portugal and Istanbul, but there is not much time. There's not much time to. There wasn't much time, sorry, to do that, because even if you have to replace those tracks, then you're gonna have to put them in any other month, in any other calendar. And I think in any other month there was like this huge gap, or huge I think from September or August until December, there's a lot of races, and there's not many breaks. I think there's twice or three times only break 1 week. So I kind of understand why, and they don't want to make it like 4 races in a row. So I kind of understand why they haven't done replaced Bahrain and Saudi Arabia with other tracks. Jonathan Wheatley has left Audi to potentially join Aston Martin, as also Adrian Newey stepped down from his team principal role at Aston Martin, and he's now focusing on the technical side of the car and improving the car. Firstly, it's the right decision for Adrian Newey to step down and more focus on his technical side of the car, because me and Mohammed, the F1 podcast that we do, we know that it's not the right decision. It wasn't a decision to make him as the team principal, and it was kind of a decision made to let's say put the Christian Horner rumors to bed, which I found me personally and Muhammad found that it was quite not right. And listen, Andrew Newey is a fantastic designer, and for sure he can turn around the problems that Aston Martin are having right now, which is some of it is also from his fault, why Aston Martin are having this kind of problems. But at the same time, for Adrian to be a team principal, that was never like a sensible decision, because Adrian Newey likes to more focus on this car, and he's not like a team principal like. It's not team principal material. A bit like Christian Horner said years ago. He said that it's the best to leave him and express his freedom at and being good at what he does. But if you let him take too much control, that's where he could struggle. And that's short. I think it's better for Adrian to focus on the technical side of the car, instead of having to focus absolutely everything, because as a team principal, not only have to focus on the car, you also have to focus on dealing with the sponsors, making press conferences, etc. And it's not easy. You have to do a lot of things. You have to deal with sponsors, you have to deal with politics, of course, within Formula One. And I don't think Adrian Newey, as good as a successful man as he is in Formula One, I don't think he would have been well and good enough to deal with this kind of things in this kind of team principal role, because him being good at what he does is the technical side of the car, improving the car, making fast cars, not like all the shenanigans and other things. So it was a decision. However, for Jonathan Whitley to leave Audi to join Aston Martin, and that means, by the way, Matteo Benotto is now the team principal of Audi. He was kind of a shared team principal with Jonathan Whitley, but Jonathan Whitley was like more. He was the team principal first, and then the second one was Matteo Benotto. But not Matteo Benotto was the team principal, and obviously Matteo Benotto has experience from the Ferrari days, and he was a performance engineer, I think, for Ferrari, where they won titles with Schumacher, and he was obviously team principal with Leclerc, Vettel, and Carlos Sainz at Ferrari. And obviously he had a lot of criticism on his way at Ferrari, rightly so, and also harsh to some extent, because Ferrari they usually haven't won trophies for the last 2008, I think so. But he was obviously one of those people who was criticized for Ferrari's strategy mistakes, and rightly so. But his experience will help a lot, and for sure will help a lot Audi, and for sure Audi don't have problems with him being the team principal. Even Jonathan Whitley left. But Jonathan Whitley has left some good foundations to work there at Audi. And I don't know why Jonathan Whitley has left Audi to join Aston Martin. Because Audi right now are in a much better place than Aston Martin. They have as it stands right now, they have a better future ceiling, a better future potential to reach in terms of competing for race wins, competing for championships. As of right now, than Aston Martin. Because with Aston Martin, with the Honda engine and the way they're struggling right now, it's not guaranteed that they're going to win in the next 4 or 5 years, next 3, 4, 5 years. So, yeah, listen, we don't know the future, but like, why do you leave Audi where they are right now because of you, and they're doing really well, and you go to a team that is like chaos, lots of problems? So I think that was a kind of a strange. I think that it's kind of a strange decision from Jonathan Whitley. Listen, it's not confirmed yet that it's John Aston Martin, but obviously it's going to be confirmed. Like, I'm pretty sure in a couple of days or in a couple of weeks. And yes, I understand. He managing Audi. He living in Switzerland is different to managing Aston Martin and live in UK. And Jonathan Whitley wants to live in UK, from what it seems, but at the same time, like, of course, money plays a part. Of course, There's have to know about that. Maybe Aston Martin pay a lot of money to him, and then what he likes and earns at Audi, for example. So, if you talk about technical decision, it's a wrong decision, of course, but obviously there are personal reasons, of course, whether he wants to go to Aston Martin because of UK, and Audi working with the factory in Switzerland. So for sure there's a huge factor in it. But I think it's a kind of strange decision to change from Audi to Aston Martin. But who knows? It could work out for Aston Martin. It could work out for Jonathan Whitley. Let's see what happens. Now let's move on to the Japan Grand Prix. Suzuka. It's such a historical track. Obviously not a track that you can overtake a lot, but it's a historical track. It's a very good track, and obviously has some great memories with the days of Fernando Alonso passing Michael Schumacher 2005. So yeah. But what do I think is going to happen for this? I mean, obviously Mercedes, they're the team to beat, and I expect them to be very, very strong this weekend. They're the team to beat. However, with the new livery they have, and they usually don't have a good history in new liveries, maybe other teams have a chance. Ferrari don't have a great record in Suzuka. I don't know. Yes, I know they got that pole position in 2019 with Sebastian Vettel, but they don't have a great record in Suzuka. So But they've looked very, very good in China, looked very, very good in Australia. So let's see if they can be good as well and find that extra edge to be more closer to Mercedes and continue being better than McLaren and Red Bull. And speaking of McLaren and Red Bull are going to bring upgrades this weekend. I expect it to be better this weekend anyway because of obviously the issues they've had in the first two races, and I don't think they can be any worse than they were in China. I expect them to be strong. Max Verstappen, one of his best tracks is in Suzuka, so I expect them to be very, very strong there, and I expect Red Bull to be very, very strong there. How strong, how competitive compared to Mercedes and Ferrari and McLaren, we don't know. Let's see what will happen. McLaren, obviously they've had some big issues they suffered in the first two races, so the most important thing for them coming to this weekend is that they're going to start the race. I'm joking, but yeah, like obviously the double DNS they suffered in China for sure was unacceptable. So they were hoping to avoid that again for the rest of the season, and they're gonna bring potential significant upgrades for the Miami Grand Prix, which is similar to what they did in 2024. So yeah, but I expect it to be better this weekend. I think Suzuka usually is a track that McLaren can do well at. So even though they haven't won for many years, I mean 2023 for example, where when they turned the season around, Piastri and Norris were fantastic in 2023. 25 they were both challenging for the win, even though maybe they should have won, because McLaren had a faster car than Red Bull in that race and for the first half of the season, in my opinion. But at the same time, historically they've been fantastic in Suzuka, but obviously as a track it can suit the car of McLaren, and Lando is usually quite decent around Suzuka. So let's see what happens. I expect them to be up there as well. I expect them to be better than they were in the first two races. I expect McLaren to be strong. I expect Red Bull to be strong. How strong? Let's see. Let's see what happens. So, yeah, but of course, McLaren cannot lose silly points. If they want to win the constructors and the drivers, they cannot lose silly points as they've done in the first two races. Because for them to only complete 58 race laps from Lando Norris in Australia, I mean, it's quite a bit embarrassing. I know some of it was not McLaren's fault because Oscar crashed in information lap in Australia, but then the double DNS in China was a disaster. So they have a chance to turn around this weekend, and so has Red Bull, because they've had a very difficult start to the season. You look at the other teams, Williams, I mean, they've had a very tricky start to the season. They have to improve. I don't expect something special from them this weekend. Aston Martin, Cadillac, same thing. I don't expect something special from them. Vika, I think they could do something this weekend. I think they could be the best of the rest. Alpine, they were strong in China, so I expect them to be up there also this weekend. Haas, I expect them to be up there as well in terms of the best of the rest. And then you've got Audi. Maybe if they get a point, they finish 10th or 9th from Hülkenberg or Gotteletto. Let's see. So that's it. The rest of the rest should be between. I think the battle for the rest of the rest should be between VCARB, Haas, and Alpine. So my qualifying predictions. I think George Russell will get pole. I think Mercedes will continue to be strong here. Pole position, George Russell. Rest predictions, first position I'm going for third position, let's start. Third position I'm going for Lewis Hamilton. I think Lewis Hamilton will get podium again. Second position I'm going for Kimi Antonelli, and first position I'm going for George Russell. Sorry to be boring, but I expect. Oh, you know what? No, I think George will win. Second, I'm going for Leclerc, and third, I'm going for Hamilton. Yeah, double Ferrari podium, but Mercedes win again, and George Russell wins. So yeah, that's my prediction. But that's it, guys. Thank you. I wish you have a nice day. See you next time, and goodbye.